Hello, Andrew from Filteroo here today, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install and set up your Filteroo Blue. So I've got basically everything out onto the bench here. We've got the bottom tank, the top tank, the base, the lid, the cartridge and the tap. And this process is super simple, it'll only take us a few minutes, and we'll have it all set up and running. So first step is we're just going to stick the bottom tank on the base, and you'll just notice here that there's a nice big flat section here which is different from any of the other sides, and that's the side where the tap goes. The next thing to do is to install the tap. So the tap has got this nut on it, and it's also got two washers. So just take one of the washers off, stick the tap through there, stick the washer on the other side, and then just install the nut. And I can usually just spin it around like this until we've got it all set up. And once it's good, you can just set it up like that. That's how easy the tap is. The next step is we're going to have to install the cartridge. So the cartridge out here from the box. This is the ultra ceramic cartridge that removes fluoride. And I usually keep the cartridge inside of the plastic wrapper while I'm using the cartridge, just so I'm not touching it with my hands. So to install the cartridge, the first thing we actually have to do is take this cartridge out like this. This is actually brand new, and it's going to have white fines on the outside of the cartridge. So what we normally do is we go to the kitchen tap and we just rinse the outside of the cartridge under the kitchen tap. So I know you probably can't see that, but it's very easy. You only want to do it for about 10 to 15 seconds, just so that any of the fines on the outside of the cartridge get washed off before we install it. Once you've done that, you just want to take off the nut here and take off one of the washers on this one as well. Then what we want to do, so you can still use this, makes it easier. We're going to pick up the top tank, stick it through the hole, grab the second washer, stick that on, grab the nut, and then just screw that in until it's nice and hand tight. You don't want it so tight that you can't undo it again later on, but it does need to be tight enough to stop any water getting from around the outside of it. So it must, obviously the water has got to go through the cartridge and through the bottom end of the thread. So just get that nice and hand tight. Once you've done that, you install the cartridge into the top tank. So what we do now is we stick the top tank inside the bottom tank, just like that. And to finish off, we would normally just stick the lid on top of here, but we're going to have to flush the cartridge first before we're going to fill up the top of the tank, but we're not going to use the first load through. So we're going to basically fill up the top tank, let all of that 10 litres go all the way through. Once it's gone all the way through, you're going to have 10 litres of water in the bottom. But because there's carbon and all sorts of things inside of the ceramic cartridge, you might have some fines in the bottom. So what we normally do is just get that the water that came through from the top tank into the bottom tank, throw it on the garden, do whatever, give it a nice wipe out just so that there's no fines sitting in the bottom, and then just fill up the top tank again, and then it will then flush all the way through, and then the water's ready to drink. When you get a Filteroo Blue, you also get a mineral pad, and so you have the option of installing a mineral pad in the bottom of your Filteroo Blue. So I just want to share with you a couple of tips on installing the mineral pad. So you just grab it out of the box and out of this plastic wrapping. Now this is the mineral pad. Now there's a whole bunch of minerals inside of this, and they'll have fines on the outside of it. So one of the first things we want to do is we just want to rinse it for 10 to 20 seconds underneath the tap. We just turn on the tap and we'll just rinse this for 10 to 20 seconds and kind of let all those fines then all those fines get washed off here. Once this has been washed and you're ready to install it, what we'll do is we'll basically take off the top tank and the lid, and then we'll stick this in the very bottom, just in the middle there, and then we'll stick this back on. Now, you can install the mini pad anytime. Ideally, when you're installing it into the system, you would put it in the bottom tank before you, after you've done the first flush of the cartridge. And that's how I would generally do it. But if you've already flushed the cartridge, or you haven't flushed the cartridge, it's all right, you can stick it in the bottom, and it will do a great job of elevating the pH. So I hope that helps in regards to installing the mini pad. Please let us know if you have any questions, and thank you very much.